February 15th, 2026. The heavy doors of the Oslo courtroom have just swung shut. But the echoes of what happened inside are about to tear the monarchy apart. Last week, I told you about those 3 million leaked documents, but what has come out in the last 48 hours is beyond anything we could have imagined. While the Crown Princess has vanished on a mysterious, private trip, a smartwatch on a victim's wrist is telling a story that has left the entire country in shock. This is not just hearsay anymore. We are looking at cold, hard data proving how a predator struck while his prey was defenseless, lost in a deep sleep. In this second part, we go into the forbidden footage, the police raids on the Nobel elite, and the illegal parties happening right inside the palace walls. We uncover how a royal credit card was drained by the underworld, and how these files show the royal house is imploding in real time. Stay with me, because the truth is so much darker than we thought. This is not a fairy tale anymore. This is the raw reality of a crown turning to ash. In part 1, we saw how Mette-Marit tried to convince the world that her ties to Jeffrey Epstein were just a lapse in judgment. But this week, that LIE officially died. From the thousands of files leaking now, a picture is emerging of an elite class that thought the rules simply did not apply to them. The Norwegian ambassador to Jordan and Iraq, Mona Yule, stepped down this week with immediate effect. The reason? Her unacceptable connections to this shadow network. But Yule was not the only domino to fall. On February 12th, police raided the villas of former Prime Minister Thorbjørn Jagland. The man who led the Nobel Peace Prize Committee for years is now under official investigation for corruption and blackmail within the inner circle of the man who terrorized the world from his private island. Why does this matter for Mette-Marit? Because she was the link. The documents show she was not just receiving messages. She was the one opening doors to the highest halls of power. While the public thought their princess was busy with charity work, she was acting as the quiet connection for a system built on exploitation. Now that police are digging through the former Prime Minister's records, everyone in Norway is asking the same thing: when will the walls of the crown itself be breached? Inside that Oslo courtroom, this week we watched a man completely lose his grip on reality. Marius Borg Høiby broke down in tears, trying to blame his actions on certain substances. But then, the prosecution delivered the final blow. They presented data from a smartwatch belonging to one of the victims. It is a technical detail that has completely flipped the case. The data shows that at the moment of the incident, the woman was in a deep, undisturbed sleep. Her heart rate was steady, her breathing calm. And then, at the exact moment of the unthinkable physical act, her heart rate spiked to a peak, while her body remained unable to offer any resistance because of the state she was in. This is the evidence Marius cannot talk his way out of. And get this, according to the evidence, one of these horrific acts took place in the basement of the Skaugum Palace itself. The son of the Crown Princess was using the official royal residence as his personal hunting ground. While he cries in court over his own fate, his mother is nowhere to be seen. She is traveling, far away from the testimony of the women he destroyed. But the basement of Skaugum hides more than crimes against individuals. This week, a disturbing pattern emerged in court about the so-called Skaugum festivals. These weren't innocent parties for the jet set. They were notorious events organized by Marius himself, where the guest list looked like a most wanted poster. Norwegian media outlets are reporting that people with heavy criminal records were there, including known members of the Hells Angels. These figures weren't just hanging out in Marius's quarters. According to reports, they were even given access to the private apartments of the Crown Prince and Princess. The palace has formally denied the thefts and the presence of these gang members. However, the influential magazine Skaugum is standing firmly by their reporting and claims they even have video evidence to back up their claims. Inside those walls that are supposed to symbolize Norway, alcohol flowed and white powder was openly present according to witness statements. And the most shocking part, Mette-Marit reportedly welcomed her son's guests at these parties personally. While she was the public face of the monarchy, she was giving legitimacy to a criminal underworld inside her own home. The fallout has been devastating for the royal reputation. It was revealed in court that valuable royal silverware was simply stolen during these parties, and the thieves even tried to sell it through an auction house later. And the audacity did not stop there. A credit card issued to the royal court was stolen and used for a full year by third parties for private spending. For an entire year, the state treasury was being drained by Marius's friends, and the security detail never stepped in. Let's go back to that correspondence from 2012, which takes on a sick new meaning now. Mette-Marit wrote to the man who architected a global network of exploitation. Paris is good for adultery. Instead of distancing herself from a man who was already a known predator back then, the future queen was making light jokes about being unfaithful. She clearly felt at home in that atmosphere of privilege where the rules that apply to you and me didn't seem to exist. And do not forget the question in those emails about whether explicit material was suitable for 15-year-old Marius's room. The question Norway is asking now with fear in its eyes is, what kind of upbringing does a child get when his mother asks a convicted monster for advice on his psychological world? In the 2014 files, we even see Mette-Marit suggesting that he reach out to young Scandinavian women. She wasn't just a friend, she was giving him direct access to a new pool of potential targets. And the lies about this friendship are stacking up. While the palace officially stated her meeting with him in St. Barthélemy was a total coincidence, Norwegian media has shown otherwise. It was planned in advance, a conscious choice to spend time with a monster. And where is the crown prince in all of this? Håkon is desperately trying to keep a firewall around the throne by distancing himself. While the world watches the trial and the Winter Olympics are in full swing, his official line is, Marius is a private citizen. He carries his own responsibility. It's a calculated but cold attempt to save the crown. But the Norwegian people aren't buying it anymore. This week in court, it came out that Mette-Marit might have warned her son just before the police raided his home in August, and that she even cleaned his house to keep the peace. There is talk of a missing SIM card that could have held crucial evidence. Marius admitted his mother was there when he heard the news, but investigators have evidence of very suspicious timing in their communication. If the future queen actively helped erase the traces of physical harm, then the monarchy isn't just damaged, it's an accomplice to a cover-up. What makes this story so toxic is the contrast between the public image and the woman in the files. The empathy she always used as her greatest strength is being exposed by the Norwegian media as a total facade. The pressure on the Norwegian throne has reached a historic breaking point this February. The political leadership can no longer stay silent. Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre stated publicly this week that she has shown bad judgment, and he said he agrees. He is now expecting full transparency. And while the palace is burning, something remarkable happened in the Norwegian parliament. Despite the crisis, the parliament voted 141 to 26 in favor of keeping the monarchy. The system is trying to protect itself, while the people have already checked out. Latest polls show that a staggering 57% of Norwegians now officially find her unfit to be their future queen. Only 22% still dare to support her. Mette-Marit thought she could take these secrets to her grave. She believed her status made her son untouchable by the law. But the 21st century has no mercy for royal privilege. The smartwatch data, the millions of documents, and the facts about the looting of Skaugum are the final nails in the coffin for this institution. The world is no longer looking at a princess, but at the ruins of a regime that thought it was above the truth. The trial goes on until March 19th. Every day, more masks fall off. The question is no longer if Maître Marit knew what was happening, but to what extent she was the director of her own downfall. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, because tomorrow we are going deeper into the testimonies given behind closed doors. These statements prove the reality inside those palace walls was even more shocking than we ever dared to imagine. Let me know in the comments, should the family give up their titles? We're following this live. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.